Ready? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Ready?
Well, Al, congratulations on your tour.
Thank you.
On your children's books, on your several Grammys,
Well,
on your 4 decades of success. And I'm so delighted to meet with you today.
Well, thank you.
I'm Melody from GeekMom, and we are a geeky community, obviously, in the name. And I have a lot of crowdsourced questions. I'm going to skip through some. But first and foremost, I wanted to get some information to you about Milo Murphy and what appealed to you about going back to middle school.
Well, my own middle school experience was horrible.
Okay.
My own daughter is in middle school right now. She's 13, and she's having a much better time of it, which I'm thankful for, because I just remember like 7th, 8th grade were like the worst years of my life. It's just like, which is why I feel good about a character like Milo Murphy, because like horrible things happen to him constantly. That's his character description. Like everywhere he goes, he's a walking jinx. Like Murphy's Law is in full effect, but he's not glum about it. He's a real positive kid. Every catastrophe is a challenge. It's a new experience. It's an adventure, which I love about him. I wish I was more like that when I was his age, and I think anybody can learn from that kind of like positive spirit.
Yes, I saw the pilot, and that's what I got to from it, a positivity that even though all these things are falling down, which you think in middle school is happening to you all the time, it's about how you look at it and how you perceive it. I know you've done animated voiceovers for like Wander Over Yonder and recently Gravity Falls. Do you like the voice performing? Is it the same kind of joy that you get from being on stage and performing?
It's different, certainly, but I dearly love voice acting. It's one of my favorite one of the favorite parts of my job description. It's very low pressure and low stress. I mean, that's the thing about being on stage is it's a big adrenaline rush, but at the same time, it's sort of like for big shows, like I play the Hollywood Bowl and Radio City Music Hall, like I hope I'm okay, because there's always a potential for disaster again.
Right.
But with voice acting, it's sort of like if you flub a line, you do it again. You don't have to worry about forgetting a line because it's right there in front of you.
Right.
So I love those sessions because you just go and you just have fun and everybody laughs and has a great time, and then it's over before you know it.
And you can wear sweatpants.
You don't have to shave or shower for weeks.
Right.
It's amazing.
It's an amazing gig. Nice work if you can get it, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Okay, here's some questions, but first from my 5-year-old. She really loves the new Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and she wanted me to ask you, since I showed her the other Star Wars parodies that you've done, if you're going to do a Star Wars parody.
Oh, I've gotten asked that a lot. In fact, I was just at the Star Wars offices up north, and they asked me that as well. Okay. It was something that I had sort of in the back of my mind. In fact, I sort of made a joke about it, like I said, oh, I do a Star Wars parody every 20 years, like clockwork. And I was like, oh, almost that time again. But the thing is, I thought about it practically, and I've got 2 Star Wars songs, which are fan favorites. I got Yoda and The Saga Begins. And they're so popular that I play them, every concert. They're like the big Star Wars encore. Yeah. And I figure, like, well, if I did a 3rd Star Wars song, either it would be a big flop, which is not a good thing, or it would be a big hit, which means I'd have 3 Star Wars songs I had to play, and then it becomes like the Star Wars show. So I figure, well, maybe I better cut myself off.
Well, if there's a way to work it into a musical episode on Milo Murphy,
well, there you go.
Then you can kind of maybe do some music for that.
Okay.
And wouldn't the pressure on stage would be off maybe for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some crowdsources that this what they want me to ask you. Why does the number 27 come up so much in your music?
That was something that came up naturally years ago. I don't know why, but like the number 27 I thought was sort of a funny sounding number, and maybe it was the exact right number of syllables and the right kind of meter, and I used the number like maybe twice, and then people were like, oh, does this mean something? What's the significance? And as soon as I saw there was like a little cult developing, I started fanning the flames and like, oh, you like that? Here's a 27 over here and a 27 over here.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden people were like, and then it became like sort of like an in-joke, like a private little like wink to the hardcore fans.
Okay. We have another one. This is one that many ask me. Will there be a UHF sequel?
Again, I appreciate the fandom and the love for UHF. I would love to do another movie. I just, I'm not a big fan of a lot of comedy sequels. I kind of feel like, people have a lot of nostalgic affection for UHF, and I just kind of want to let it live in its own era, in its own time, and not like cash in and go, oh, and here's UHF 2016, you know.
Right.
I can certainly do another movie, and I'd love to do another movie that has that same kind of comedic sensibility.
Yeah.
But there's no real point to rehashing something that I did 30 years ago. And also, I mean, most major studios don't want to do sequels to movies that bombed at the box office. UHF has gone on to become a cult favorite, but it's not the kind of movie where like Hollywood is like throwing money at me going, oh, please do a sequel to this.
Right. Okay, last question. What beloved Disney song, since now we're involved with Disney, would you like to parody?
I almost did a parody of Let It Go. Almost, which would have been fun. And I love Bobby Lopez. He's a great guy, and he probably would have let me do it, I'm guessing. But I found out that somebody else had the exact same idea that I had, which was a Star Trek parody called Make It So.
Okay.
And in fact, I think Disney probably sued them, so they they took it off the internet. Okay. But I was like, okay, well, if it was popular enough for Disney to sue them, I better leave it alone.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We're really excited about Milo Murphy, and we're all behind you at the Geek Mom, Geek Dad community.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is it okay to get a picture?
Sure.
It's okay?
Of course, of course.